Hello. Hello, anybody home? Oh, Angie, on the call today. So, yes, we'll start right about now. I'm very excited for today's session for two main reasons. One, because I love everything that has to do with engagements and customer engagements. And two, because of the panelists that we have on the call today. So let me introduce myself. I'm Ronald, Ronald Tagoe. And I always say I'm the CEO of M-Notify Company Limited, but CEO to mean the Chief Engagement Officer. And that's because the core of what we do is around engagements and making sure that SMEs have the right tools to engage their customers to not only build brand loyalty and customer retention, but also increase their revenue. And on the call with me today, I have my very good friend, Gideon Koney. He's the CEO of Stames Ghana. And Stames is a very exciting company, a very great brand to work with. What they do essentially is also to provide omni-channel customer sales and team communications platform that allows or helps businesses to centralize their customer engagements and their team communications across any channel or multiple channels, any channel that is available. Gideon, would you like to say any extra words or any additions to what I did? Or I hit the nail right on the head.
You hit the nail right on the head. But I will add that what we do essentially is we connect businesses to customers. That is essentially what we do by helping them to optimize and to improve their customer services, sales pipelines, and messaging channels. So yeah, you hit the nail right on the head.
Awesome. Excited to be here. Exciting to hear that as well. In this session, mainly we'll be speaking about boosting retention for customer engagements. And our goal is that by the end of this session, the SMEs on the platform and entrepreneurs on the platform will be able to discover actionable insights and real-world examples that would not only empower them to foster stronger relationships with their customers, but also drive sustainable growth for their business. And I'd like us to delve right in. I saw a very interesting, exciting quote on your social media page, and I'll just read that, and that would sort of set the tone for our conversations. So there was a post that said, investing in customer engagement helps activate your flywheel as a business owner, because loyal customers help you acquire new customers free of charge by convincing prospects to interact with your brand. And they also offer positive testimonials, which is more effective than any marketing tool or any marketing efforts that you can put in as a brand. And that would lead to my first question. What is customer engagement? Or as Stems, what would you say is customer engagement?
Oh, okay. So thank you for that question. So to me, customer engagement is all about communicating your company's value proposition to your customers. So the key word here, as you can see, is I used the word company value proposition. There are two types of value propositions. There is a company value proposition, and there is a product or service value proposition. So the company value proposition is the value or benefit a company provides to their customers, right? Both before and after sales. And this often includes elements like corporate culture, customer service, innovation, and the company's long-term vision. Do you understand? So we also have the product value proposition, which is the benefit a product gives a customer. So typically, it focuses on features, performance, pricing, and benefits of a particular product. There are three essential elements of a great customer engagement. The number one is effective and accountable customer service. Two is a strong sales pipeline and marketing. And the third point is well-established and well-managed messaging channels. So what do I mean by effective and accountable customer services? So this includes effective communications, right? Which involves you listening to your customers, understanding their needs, and providing a clear and helpful response to whatever they inquire about, or whatever their issues are. And it builds rapport, right? It prevents misunderstanding. We also have empathy, that is putting yourself in the customer's shoes to be able to understand where the customer is coming from. We have prompt responses. You need to be very prompt in your response. A customer can't send you an inquiry and it takes you 3 hours or 2 hours to be able to respond to them, because that actually tells the customer your business is not really serious about whatever it is that you guys are into. I also think personalization is also something that is critical. A lot of companies try to automate almost everything. You understand? So they, for example, treating each customer as an individual and tailoring their interactions to specific needs is very, very important. It makes them feel valued. Do you understand? I think feedback, follow-ups, loyalty rewards, surprise thank yous, supporting causes that your customers care about. These are all critical to an effective and accountable customer service. So,
okay.
Yeah. So we have.
That's fine. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So that is for effective and accountable customer service. I think the other aspect of this is a strong sales pipelines and marketing. And this includes you essentially, doing email marketing, SMS, bulk SMS, bulk voice calls,
Voice SMS,
AI chatbot, and all of that. These are all part of what makes a really great customer engagement. I hope you understand. And the last one is the omni-channel, which we've already talked about. So I think I'll end here.
Yes, thank you very much. Very elaborate, and the few pointers in there. But my other question would be, what's the correlation between how you engage your customers and how you tend to retain your customers? Because in your quotes, you mentioned that if you invest in customer engagement, you then now have loyal customers, which means you are sort of able to retain those customers. So what's the correlation, and how do you move from engagements to retention?
Okay, so what I believe is a great customer engagement is a key driver of customer retention, right? Engaged customers are more likely to become loyal customers. When customers have strong emotional connection to a brand or business, they are more inclined to continue doing business with that particular business over a period of time. So I think this is where effective and accountable customer service plays a huge role, right? We talked about loyalty rewards, birthday gifts, etc. And the small things you do have a huge impact in getting repeat customers. And for your business to grow, it needs repeat customers. You can't grow a business without having repeat customers. So the more the repeat customers, the bigger the growth. I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yes, and that makes a lot of sense as well. I mean, before we go ahead, I would like to the next question. I would like to say that we would want to hear from the audience as much as possible. I saw the comment from Prince on the need to share the points, so we'll be sharing some of the pointers as well. And anytime either myself or Gideon sees something that hits you or that lights up a bulb, you can always share that in the comment section as well. We look forward to hearing your questions. I read a ton of questions before the session. I'm very excited about them. We look forward to hearing more of your questions as well. Yes. So with that being said, I would like to still further dwell on the link between customer engagement and customer retention. So let's say I'm a company. How do I create like sort of an engagement strategy, or how do I have a plan, for lack of a better word, to be able to engage my customers in order to retain them? Or how do I do it? Just on a higher level.
Okay, so what I do think that most businesses focus too much on customer acquisition than customer retention. And personally, I think it's a big mistake, right? Because when you focus on customer retention, you are able to build brand ambassadors, right? Which also means that once you build that level of relationship with your clients, they go out there and they do what? They talk to other people about your product or your service. And then it brings you more sales. So let me give you an example. So back in 2012, right, I started my first web development business. And at that time, we just contacted about 3 people from our, old school union, whatever, right? And we just decided to, try it out with sell our services to about 3 of them. So we during our interaction, we got about 3 people. We moved from 3 people to over 70 customers in less than 1 year. And the key was not we spending so much money on ads, or we spending money on a lot of these this and that. A lot of companies spend so much money in doing to be able to get customers. We did it because of word of mouth, right? This person liked our services so much. We were so much impressed with what we did that they went on talking to people about our products and services. And some even said, if you go to these people and they charge you this amount of money, get on your knees and beg them. You get what I'm saying? So this is what makes a really good, like if you really want to be able to retain customers, you need to be able to provide exceptional customer service and build the relationship with the customers that you have before even investing too much money into sales and marketing. Because that's if you pour more money into making those customers that are already with you happy, they tend to be brand ambassadors and they tend to go out and they tend to bring you more business.
Awesome. There's a quote that says that the best form of marketing is referrals or referral marketing, because then the people already trust the prospects already trust your brand because they are being referred by their friends and whatnot. At this juncture, I would want to hear from our audience and would want to pull out our first poll. As I mentioned earlier, we like, as customer engagement champions, we like to engage as much as possible and to avoid just a two-way communication. So we'll be launching our first poll, and then it's mainly to get to understand our audience and how they engage with their customers and how the channels that they use to engage their customers. So I'm launching the first poll now. Please let me know if you see the poll. So we'll give ourselves about 30 seconds for us to get some responses. I don't see any response so far, but the question is, on the scale of 1 to 5, how do you rate your company's online presence and engagement? And that essentially is the second part of the question that would be the second part of the conversation that we'll be having. So I see the interactions coming in, and I would give ourselves just another 5 seconds to get some more response coming in there. Okay. All right. So I guess it's a good time to end the poll. So very interesting responses, and I'll share the poll so we can all see and jump into the conversation. So let me know if you can see the polls, but on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your company's online presence and engagements? And we had 44% saying 3, we had 33% saying 2, and 22% saying 4. Now, my question to you, Gideon, is how crucial is it, first and foremost, to have an online and social media presence as a business? And how do you also have engagements on social media? Because, for example, I made a purchase recently on Instagram, and it took the business owner about 15 minutes to respond to me. And after responding to me, I had to then now further engage them on WhatsApp. And I felt the engagement cycle was very long and frustrating for me as a customer. So I would want to hear from you on these 2 questions. First and foremost, how essential is it to be online?
Okay.
And how essential is it to ensure that your conversations online, be it social media or whatnot, are streamlined?
Okay. Is the question, are you done with the question?
Okay, sorry about that. I think there was a bit of a break.
Hello?
So I was saying that this is a 2-in-1 question. So the first part, how essential, how crucial is it for you as a business owner to have online presence, to be online and to be on social media? Okay, so I think we just lost Gideon. So while we wait for Gideon to reconnect, I would love to hear from the audience. If anyone might want to just share their thoughts on the reasoning behind their score and why and what they think can be improved, or essentially the reason behind their scores. Anyone from the audience maybe could show by hand. Okay, so we have a comment from Emmanuel. One thing I've realized when it comes to customer in business is that customers are now the boss when it comes to your business. Their purchase sustains businesses and their loyalty grows your business. Seeing customers as the boss enables businesses to respect and value their customers. I couldn't agree any better with you, Emmanuel. That's right on point and that's apt. As much as possible, the lifeline of your business is your customer. So the customer always comes first. And that would also lead to one of the questions that I actually have for Gideon. But Gideon, are you back with us now?
Yeah, I'm back with you.
Awesome.
Sorry.
All right. Yes. So I don't know if where you lost me, but from the polls that we had, 44% had a score of 3, which meant it was average. And that for me was intriguing, because then now my question I had was, most of these businesses are already on social media. So they either have a website, they have online presence, but their engagements over there is very average. So then my question is, first and foremost, is there a real need for you to be on all of the social media channels? Is there a real need for you to have a website? And if you have any of these channels, for example, how do you ensure that there's effective engagements on these channels?
Okay, thank you for that question. So I've worked with so many businesses, and the one thing that I think they have in common is how bad their customer service is, especially when it comes to social media engagement. One business normally just has this automated message. They do a lot of art on social media, and then when a customer reaches out through that platform that they are doing the art on, they basically tell them, respond with a message. Call this number, message this number, send email here. You don't do that as a business. As a business, you don't tell your customer where and which platforms or channels are convenient for you. That is one of the biggest mistakes businesses do. When a customer sends you a message on Facebook, and then you send an automated message, and a general automated message telling them to use a certain channel to connect with you, you basically have given the customer a choice. Either you don't or you do. right? The customer, if the customer decides, so it's 50-50, the customer decides, okay, I'm not going to reach out to your team on this, on the channels that you are providing me. Essentially, that's business lost, right? So it is very, very important for businesses to connect to customers on whichever platform that the customers are happy with. And you don't just connect with automated messages like the way a lot of businesses do. You connect on a personal level. You respond to their messages as you're supposed to, and not just by telling them, thank you for your message, and we are going to review and get back to you, and you don't. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Yes.
the best thing a business can do is to be on all channels, to have presence on every channel, whether it be social media, email, website contact forms. You need to be on everything, because it provides you an opportunity to serve your customers. Social media has about 3 billion active monthly users. I can bet you that your customers are on Facebook. I can bet you that your customers are on Instagram. Not only your customers, but people who can become potential customers. So you don't just establish presence on Facebook and then you just do automated messages. That is wrong. And a lot of businesses lose a lot of money doing that, but they don't know they are losing that kind of money.
Yes.
So I think
like to be
panel is really, really important.
Yeah. So I'd like to throw in a controversial question, which is still from the question, the comment that was posed earlier. Is the customer always right? And in the context of engagements, in the context of engagements, is the customer always right? How do you handle customers in that sense?
Customer is king. So you see customers as investors. If somebody invests money into your company, right? I'm sure a lot of people would jump at the chance to get investment from people, and they would do anything to get that investment, right? The same effort that you would want to put in getting investment from people, you put in that same effort in catering to your clients, right? Because like I said, one person can be a make or break for your company. Because if the person goes out there and gives negative reviews about your company, it's business lost. Trust me. If somebody is out there,
I think we lost Gideon again.
I'm very happy with this without even doing a single thing, 1 cent of art, like in terms of social media.
Okay, so
hello,
we lost you a bit. The line went back, but I guess my key takeaway from your comments was that consider your customer as an investor, and as much as possible, you go all out for your investors. So as you engage with them, you have to ensure that you're engaging with them on all levels, giving them updates about your business, ensuring that they're a happy customer, because a happy customer would give you referrals. A happy investor would pump more money into your business. And that for me is my key takeaway from. But
Can I give you a clear example?
Go for it.
Something like that. So there is a small convenience store in my neighborhood, in a very, very small container. So when I visit this store, I started developing this relationship with the owner of the store. And based off on that, the guy created what we call a VIP list and just added my number there, right? So whenever I go there to do mobile money, the guy would just take my number and would just take the money and just do it, right? That thing that he did, like it's so powerful to me. It's nothing. He spent nothing to get me to have this sort of feelings about his business, but just the fact that he was able to do that thing is inconsequential, but it's very powerful, right? To you, it might feel like it's inconsequential, but it's very, very powerful. building that sort of relationship. There are so many other, stores near my hood that are bigger, fresher, but I always walk from my house to that guy's store to purchase from him. Why? Because of that small thing that he did. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's very, very important to do whatever it takes to build a really good relationship with your customer. Like the smallest thing can trigger somebody to have that sort of reaction to your brand or your product or your company. So it's very, very important. You don't joke with your customers. That is, I don't know how much like
Emphasize on that.
it's so dire for you that if you have a customer, you don't joke with our customer.
Yeah. So my next question would be around engaging for skill. So this program is powered by Mess Skill, and Mess Skill helps businesses to scale or grow their businesses. And the phases of business, you start with a small number of customers. You're able to know them by their names, by their phone numbers, have conversations with them. But as you grow as a business, you tend to have several customers, and now it becomes very difficult to sort of track these customers. And that is what majority of them happens to a lot of businesses. They start very well, but then several customers coming in, several customer calls coming in, and interactions, and they then tend to now start to offer poor customer service. Now, my question is, how do you engage your customers with skill in mind, or how are you able to scalably engage your customers? I know that's a mouthful, but yeah, how do you do that?
So in this 21st century, I mean, there's so many technologies out there, software that you can use to optimize a lot of these things, right? The more you scale, there is software available for you to be able to build a personal relationship with your customers. So I do really believe that in this 21st century, if you are a business and you are not optimizing your customer relationships with software, then it's like you are really lagging behind. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you are scaling as a business, definitely you need to have these sort of tools available to you that will help you, data analytics for you to be able to analyze data, to be able to use predictive analysis, to be able to know which customers are happy, using feedback forms, surveys, to be able to gauge which of your customers are not happy, which of your customers are happy, and focus on them. Right. If you are scaling and you have 10,000 clients, I'm 100% sure that not everybody would be on the same page about your products and services. So some of them may not be happy maybe about a certain comment your staff member made, or somebody else made. So I think the key goal here is you being able to monitor and track each and every word that your customers and your team communicate. So if your team is saying something to your customer, you should be able to have access, to that, without asking the user to give you his email address. And that is where omnichannel communication becomes very important, because once you centralize all that communication, you're able to monitor when a customer sends a message, and you're also able to monitor when a team sends a message back. And there is a trail, right? There's a trail of information that you can then piggyback and then be able to access, to be able to know what and what. There is also this feedback surveys that you need to be deploying to your customers after an issue has been resolved, to learn from them. How did your team do? Did your team do well? If they didn't do well, you need them to be able to tell you that. So I think scaling, once you start scaling, it's very important to be very dependent on software, on technology, on AI,
certainly we'll talk about some of these tools in details, because I hear a lot of terms going around like AI, omni-channel and whatnot, chatbots and whatnot, and that would be what we'll spend the majority of the latter part of our conversations talking about. But I would still want to further ask about skill, once again to skill. So I start off as a small business owner, and I hear of these amazing tools that can help me scale. And somewhere along the line, I get overwhelmed with a lot of these tools. In your opinion, how do I sort of streamline all of the engagements? I know there are tools, but I'm trying to bring it sort of a step down where we are more practical with the audience and tell them, okay, for example, I have XYZ that can help us do this quite well. I don't know if you get the question quite well, but how do we then, if let's say I'm a one-man business, I employ 2 people, how do I put in sort of that structure to make sure that as the CEO, I'm sort of getting every minute detail? Should it be probably through an engagement strategy that I have? Should it be through, say, KPIs or matrices that I measure? Should it be through me doing maybe Monday morning meetings? We do special review on engagements. What beyond the software, what like structure or what things can we put in place as business owners to sort of ensure that we are scaling and we have like the foundations to scale our engagements?
Thank you for that. So what I know for sure is customer engagement. It encompasses the customer service, the messaging channels, and the sales pipeline and marketing. So a lot of the manual work or a lot of the very important work has to do with customer service, but sales pipeline and marketing, right? That is where you can deploy, email newsletters, bulk messaging, SMS, that Notify helps businesses to access AI and all of that. So I think these small businesses need to be able to understand and first of all, be able to recognize their budget, because budget is almost everything, right? And be able to understand how and what sort of strategies they really want to put in place now. And then when they are scaling, right, it makes it much more easier to bring in the rest, because not every small business can afford to bring in tech at the very early stages. I hope you understand. So I think it has to do much more about recognizing where you are. If you are a startup, if you don't have any customers yet, and you are looking to bring in customers, if you are a 2-man show or you have 2 staff members and you want to be able to understand and be able to gauge what they are doing and all of that, I think these are all part of decisions that a small business needs to make. You understand? So it depends on the structure, your business structure at a point in time, and where you want to go to. So you're able to determine which tools you need now versus which tools you will need later.
Awesome. That's very apt. So back in your earlier submission as well, you spoke about customer feedback and understanding your customer. So I would want to know from your perspective, what are the key lessons that you have learned from understanding customers' needs and their preference to enhance their engagements, and how you retain them
So not every customer is easy going. You understand? We have some customers that are really difficult to deal with. A lot of businesses, when they get confronted with a very difficult customer, they are like, this customer is wrong, and I won't stand for it. It's okay for me to lose this customer. Trust me, it is not. That's why I said customers are always right. So in terms of trying to get retention, right, through engagement with customers, it's very, very important to implement a feedback survey system, which allows you to be able to ask your customers to provide feedback or their opinions about your services from time to time. Normally, a lot of customers might ignore you if you don't provide a certain incentive, right? So you can then provide maybe a discount voucher to be able to get them to be able to go and fill the form, or something that would motivate them. Because if most of the times, if you send a customer a feedback survey and you tell the customer you need their help, they may be too busy to even attend to your listing. They may just look at it and just ignore it, right? And sometimes too much of it becomes annoying, right? So you need to be able to understand that incentivizing your customers to be able to open your link, and you need to be able to also track everything that you do as a business. So every action your customer takes needs to be tracked using, there are so many strategies out there to be able to track customer engagement. Every link they click in your email, the emails that you send them, every link they click on your website, landing pages, you need to optimize all of that and you need to track all of that. So once a customer clicks, so if you let's say if you take 20 customers and you send all of them feedback surveys, right? You are able to track how many of them actually clicked and which which email or which client clicked what. Do you understand? Using that strategy that I talked about. So yeah, I think it's very important to do constant surveys, not too many surveys, because it tends to be annoying. But you do it sensibly and you try to get as much feedback as possible from your customers.
So from that, from what I understood, that means in engaging your customers, you also need to know the channels that would be best to engage them on, whether they respond via emails, SMS, or social media and whatnot. But I have another question. I receive a lot of messages from different brands. Some that I am, especially in customer service week, for example, I receive a lot of messages. So how often do you need to engage with your customers, and how do you also ensure that it's effective engagement? Because then they have attention from other brands and whatnot. So in your opinion, how do you effectively engage them, and how often do you also have to engage them to make sure that there's that relevance?
Yeah, so a lot of the technologies that we have today help in doing a lot of these things, especially when it comes to customer engagement, and in particular because sales marketing, sales pipelines and marketing is very, very important. Because for example, if you are a business and you have a customer base, you need, for me, what is very, very important is you build a relationship with your customers. And it can be personal, it can be business, but you need to be able to offer some incentives. I always believe in incentives, because it feels like you are bribing your customer, but you are not. You are essentially trying to retain them. So let me give you an example. If you your customer has a birthday, right? It's just nice to send a birthday card, right? Telling the customer happy birthday, add something thoughtful, right, to the gift and send it to your customer. So it means that you need to be able to ask for their birth dates, right, to be able to know, right? I think social media helps to determine some of the customers. You know them on social media. You're able to know when is their birthday and all of that. But I think the incentives help, right? The small things you do help. So you incentivize them by building that relationship, by providing thank you notes, once in a while, visiting, asking if everything is okay. Those small things are very crucial to retaining your customers. So yeah, I think the social media bit helps, the omni-channel helps, but there is also a human element to all of this. Not everything is technology.
Yes, thank you very much. Not everything is technology. I like that, because then my other question was about SMEs or entrepreneurs that are not tech savvy, and how easy they can jump on some of these tools. I mean, we as much as possible would love to hear from our customers, but I might not be tech savvy. So my question is, how difficult is it for business owners who are not tech savvy to use some of these tools? Just how difficult is it? Is it very easy or very difficult, or do they need guidance?
No. Most of these tools are made for the layman, right? We in the software industry, there is something called customer experience, right? We try as much as possible to build software based off on, not based off on, how do I put it? For the layman, let me just say, for the layman. So just anybody can be able to sign on and then use the software. But there are companies that provide some of these tools, some of these softwares that have support structures, right? So if you are not able to, if you don't know what to do, some of you offer free services. My company, for example, we don't charge for certain services. Certain services are completely free. We can go into provide certain services that essentially helps your business, optimizes a lot of what you do. We give advice. We even do mystery shopper reports, whereby we probe businesses, help them understand where they lack how do I say, they lack really in terms of, they have gaps in terms of their customer service. I hope you understand. Their sales pipeline and their messaging channels, and then we do recommendations, and then we help them implement this free of charge. So there are so many. We also have a support center, right? So if you are a business person and you don't understand something, you go to the support center. You can browse through thousands of knowledge based articles and posts that we have. We have a blog post that we normally use to engage our customers. And then we have a system, a support structure whereby you can connect with our team, and our team will just help you at no cost at all. So it's not, I'm using my company as an example. I'm sure Notify also does a lot of these, but a lot of the tech companies, they have support structures in place. So even if you are not tech savvy, it's very easy for you to depend on them for some of these solutions.
Yes, so that leads me to my next question. So there are several channels that of communication. You're also offering different sharing different offers and whatnot. So how do personalized communication and targeted offers contribute to building stronger relationships and loyalty, brand loyalty? So how do you then decide, okay, maybe if I offer this particular segment, this special offer, not only would it increase my sales, but it will go a long way to build a stronger relationship with them and a stronger brand as well?
Yeah, that is a very, very important question. And so as somebody from the software community, I can tell you that most softwares that are available offer free versions, right? So there are free versions of the software that businesses can be able to use to be able to optimize their growth without actually, getting it all into, paying for some of these services. There is also what we call a free trial. So that trial is mostly for people to be able to get started using the software. Try it. If it helps your business, if it saves you money, then we are happy to talk to you about pricing. You get what I'm saying? And even some of them are happily supporting businesses with free credits and all of that. So yeah, I think for startups, for people who are trying to get into this game, you don't normally all the time need money, right? You sometimes need to be able to, some of the tools are available free of charge. There are free versions. There are trial periods, and there are even credits available. So it's easy to get started.
Awesome. That's good to know. And I think at this juncture, I would want us to run a poll again to just get a fair sense of how many of our audience are able to gather feedback from their customers. So we'll give that also another 30 seconds. And while we do that, I have another interesting question I would want to ask, but let me just get the poll running. Okay. All right. So we have our second poll, and we'd just like to know how you gather feedback from your customers? Is it through phone calls, through in-person surveys, online surveys, chatbots, SMS? We're just curious to know how you gather feedback. So see the response coming in. That's very interesting responses that I'm getting here. But my other question is mainly after you've understood your customers and their buying patterns, the channels that they like to, for example, communicate on, how then do you do more of that to ensure that it's also not annoying in a way, but at the same time, it's also where they would want to be? And how do you know when they also change channels? When, for example, I change my phone number, so maybe sending me an SMS might not work, and probably I would want online service. But that's just a question for you to think about. I'll just end the survey now so we get the responses. So how do you gather feedback from your customers? We had 60% of them saying phone calls. We had 50%, we had, 6 saying phone calls. We had 50% saying in-person service. We had under 50% for online service. Then 40 saying that they do SMS. So this sort of was a multi-choice question. So then you'd notice that majority of them still use phone calls. Then it's followed by an even distribution of online service and in-person service. Then SMS being the least. I would just like to get your thoughts, Gideon, on these results and what you think about that in terms of the behavior of SMEs and entrepreneurs and business owners, looking at the stats that I shared.
Yeah, so I think our users are our viewers are right in terms of using whatever channels that the customer feels comfortable, right? So if you have a customer's phone number, probably you know that your customer is not somebody who checks their emails all the time. So sending them surveys will not really work for them. So you need to first of all know your customer, right? You need to be able to know which channel your customer likes to be able to communicate with you. And then you need to be able to use that channel to be able to communicate with them in terms of seeking feedback. One thing I've realized is so many businesses call their customers and they want feedback, right? But sometimes when you are doing that, like I always say, it is very, very wise to be able to call them and then say, oh, this is this person from this company. We are looking to work with you to know if you are happy with our services. Would you like this?
Hello, Gideon. Are you able to hear us? Okay. So it looks like we lost.
Hello?
Yes, I think we lost you for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I
Sorry
think it's
about
better
that.
now. Yeah.
All right. So what I was saying is it's important for you to know which channel your customers like to communicate with you on, and then you should be able to use that channel to communicate any feedback that you need from them. And normally when you are talking to them about them providing feedback, always add an incentive. Don't just call them and then sometimes there are some where they are busy and then you call them and you want to engage in a conversation with them and you want their feedback. So most of them will give it for you to you for free, but it's good to add incentive if that incentive will affect your business operations in any way. So startups normally in Ghana, I think the preferable way is phone calls, right? But I think you should be able to do a lot more feedback surveys through emails so that you can be able to track. The tracking is very important.
Okay. So if just to bring to context, it's important that you're able to track the feedback, and maybe having a lot of that on phone calls might be difficult to track. I also noticed that chatbots were zero, which is quite also interesting. So majority of that means that either we are doing phone calls or in-person service, then probably online service. So then does that mean that, in your opinion, does that mean that as business owners, we are doing more of manual tracking and we are not able to get some meaningful analytics from the engagements that we have with our customers based on the survey responses?
Yeah, analytics is very, very important. A lot of people do not know this, but chatbots is now critical to a lot of your sales process. If you really care about your sales and you really care about what your customer experience, right? I think it is very, very important for you to engage using chatbot. Some chatbots are very, very bad, bamboozled in a way. They don't give you any actual real help. But I think chatbot can be implemented in a way, right, that allows your customer to be able to essentially even place orders. Do you get what I'm saying? Without any outside help. And if they're having issues, they can use that same channel to be able to connect with the customer service teams. But a lot of the chatbots that are like a lot of the chatbots that I think don't really offer real help. They just, it is all about communicating with the machine. It's not about communication, and then there's the availability to connect with the customer service team. So I think that balance is very important.
Interesting. And that takes us to our final segment, which is where we talk about AI and chatbots and artificial intelligence. Now, there's something that I came across quite recently that in the 70s, the main thing was steam power. Then in the 80s, there was the invention of electricity, and electricity was sort of the big thing. Then in the 90s, there was the information technology era, where now to survive as a business, you needed to have IT infrastructure and you needed to be on the internet. And it looks like the new wave is AI, artificial intelligence, and about ChatGPT and BARD and whatnot. And I'd like to know your thoughts about this industrial revolution, where we started from steam power, then electricity, and then ICT, and now artificial intelligence. What does that mean to you, and what does that mean for African SMEs and entrepreneurs as well?
I really love where you came from in terms of coming from the old days, right? Even the Stone Ages, we didn't have electricity and all of that. So yeah, now, right, our lives are so much better because of advancement in technology, AI, chatbots, automation, very, very critical, right? So I believe that businesses, right, need to be able to automate a lot of the manual processes as much as possible. You automate as much as possible. You can take you can ascertain from what I'm saying that I'm not saying I'm.
Hello, Gideon, are you with us?
Not all processes can't have 100% automation.
Yes, okay.
Hello?
So I think the key phrase for me is that you can't have 100% automation. And at M-Notify, what, for example, we always tell businesses that want a chatbot is you need to understand your processes, because then what you are doing is garbage in, garbage out. You are basically taking whatever process you have and automating. So if the process isn't well spelled out, then it means that the customer will definitely be frustrated.
I mean, if you take a look at our lives right now, you can see that our lives are so much better because of technology, because of automation. Previously, if you are back in old school days, SHS, you know that when you are even in terms of writing a letter to maybe a friend in another school, it takes money, it takes effort, it takes transportation. But now you don't need to write a long letter on a piece of paper and send to a post office for 2 weeks to pass for you to be able to get a response. You get what I'm saying? So I think advancement in technology, automation has really helped. So now you're able to just jump on Facebook and chat with somebody 1 second, the next second you get information back. So I think technology automation is critical. If you, like I said, you need to automate as much processes as possible, but there has to be a balance between automation and, because AI doesn't know everything. AI can replace everyone. I hope you understand.
So that will bring to my next question about ChatGPT and the craze around ChatGPT and all that. What do you think as business owners, how was the responsible way to embrace ChatGPT in what we do?
So for me, we as Stames, we have embraced ChatGPT AI essentially helping to craft automated messages, right? So for example, if you're a business and you want to be able to send a message, automatically send a reply to a certain customer, right? AI is able to determine the text, like it's able to read the text from the customer, is able to then identify the appropriate response and can be able to send a response that is close to what a customer is looking to do, right? The solution to the customer's issues. So like ChatGPT, Bard, Llama, all of these tools can be used by businesses to essentially even create content, right? To be able to create images, content, articles, everything that you need. You do not have to sit down, think about what to write here and here. All you need to do is put a command into ChatGPT or Llama, and then it spits out everything that you need. Even we use AI to even do animation, right? The animation that we did with the animation we did with that is on our YouTube pages and all of that was done with AI. So, like I said, everything is being, it's now being easy to do. Before I didn't even know how to use an animation tool, but now I just put in a command and then I generate a whole video.
Yeah, that's exciting and that's good to know. So as SMEs and as business owners, if we really want to scale, then we need to embrace AI, we need to embrace automations and whatnot. But that brings
with sales, you need to embrace chatbots.
Chatbots, yes. So with sales, you embrace chatbots, and we'll talk about how to get started and some of the tools. But that brings me to my next question, which is that how do you like measure your engagements and how do you set KPIs around your engagements? Because there's a saying that you cannot control what you don't measure, and as much as possible, people fear AI, for example, because they feel it cannot be controlled. So how do you then create matrices that you can measure for customer engagement? Or how do you then know that, okay, this is evidence that I am doing well with engaging my customers?
Yeah, so I go back to where I say you track everything. Like it has to be a key priority of you to track everything, every link you send to a customer. If you have a landing page, you need to be tracking the actions your customers take, right? So for me, it's all about tracking your user engagement and using that metric. So for example, if you send like 20 messages to your customers, you should be able to know how many of them actually click the link. Do you get what I'm saying? And all of that. And sometimes you can leverage AI to be able to do some of these things because AI is very good with predictive analysis. They can predict, they can look at, that is what Google is actually using for their ads. So you can sometimes you realize that you go to Google and you type where to get a red shoe, right? And then once you go through, you don't find anything, you just close the browser, you go to your Facebook and then you see an ad about shoes, red shoes. that is AI at work. Do you get what I'm saying? So there are so many ways that AI is actually impacting our lives that we don't even know it. But I don't think AI is in a position to actually take over, like a lot of people fear. Right now, we are not there yet at all. Maybe, I don't know, I can't tell. But I think for now.
So I believe that AI also would never take over from human beings as well. It just comes to complement what we do as human beings. And that essentially would bring me to the final part of our conversation about AI chatbots. And for example, at M-Notify, under our Chatbots Africa products, you're able to develop AI-powered chatbots that helps you to automate your sales, that helps you to automate FAQs and whatnot. So if, let's say, you're an Instagram shop and people buy from you on Instagram, you can sort of streamline the entire process and automate all of that and make sales while you sleep. Do you think that's something that can help businesses, or you still believe that businesses need to have that one-on-one interaction with their customers at all costs?
Look, when it comes to sales and marketing, a chatbot is really important. And I know this because I am a customer experience person. Like, I am very key about customers and their experience with a brand, right? So it's like chatbot allows you to even be able to, the customer be able to place an order, right? Through WhatsApp, through Facebook, so it's a really powerful system, right? But that system, if there is a way for the users to be able to connect when they have an issue, it makes the whole experience much better, right? Because when you are going through the system, the chatbot, and you're interacting with it, and it's giving you products that you are asking for and all of that, you, at the end of it, if you need maybe to know, maybe you don't understand something and you need to know if this is right or wrong, right? There should be an opportunity for you to immediately connect to the customer service team. So I really do think chatbots are very important. I believe that the sales process is better, much better, because of chatbots. And I encourage many businesses to actually leverage chatbots in their sales processes.
Yes, so I remember having this webinar on chatbots adoption, and there was a question that I threw to the audience, that do they believe that every business needs a chatbot, every business deserves to have a chatbot? And majority of them said yes, and I said no, and it was a bit controversial. And I mentioned that, and I think you said that in your earlier comment as well, that as much as possible, to have a successful chatbot is all about garbage in, garbage out. What you feed is what you get out. And as much as possible, you need to also train your chatbot. So to be able to have a chatbot work successfully for your business, you need to not only have the processes clearly outlined, but also take time to train your bots like a baby. So you train your bots here and there and whatnot. And I think one other thing as well was how easy is it to get started? So I saw a question in the chat section about how can I get started, or how easy can I get started? And that's one thing I'd like to know from you as well. How can I easily get started? How can I easily jump on some of these tools? So for example, if it's SMS I want to do, if it's a chatbot, if it's omni-channel engagements, how do I get started?
So I think most of the times you need to be able to clearly define what is it that you are trying to achieve. It is very, very important for businesses and brands to know what they are trying to achieve with AI and chatbot. And once you are able to define that objective and goal, then you can be able to build your team, right? You can be able to, some of the times there are a lot of people who offer free help, right? There are courses online that you can take. I think it's very important to be following people who help guide you and guide people on the ethical use of AI and chatbot. So yeah, I think it's very important to get started. You clearly need to define your objective, and then to be able to utilize the AI, and then to be able to, you need to learn more about it. You need to read more about it, and you need to engage with it, right? It is only then that most of your objectives will come to sharp focus for you to be able to leverage the systems in place to be able to do this. So there's no easy answer to you getting started, but I think once you have a set of defined objectives, you can easily find courses online, or you can easily follow pages on social media that is dedicated to AI, or you can connect with companies that are into AI automations and get free consultations.
Yes,
There are so many companies that do that.
Thank you very much for that response. Beyond that as well, too, checking out Stames blog post is also a good place to start from in terms of customer engagements. They have a ton of resources over there. Same for mNotify as well. We do organize webinars like this to engage with SMEs to first and foremost understand what they're doing and what they are doing, and make further recommendations on how they can effectively engage their customers. At this juncture, I'd like to open up the floor for any questions from the audience. We've been at this for almost an hour, and I would like to hear from the audience. I'm curious to hear from them. So you can show by hand if you have any questions or any thoughts. But from the Q&A section, Benes has a question. Is it okay to have different sources to connect with your customers? So Gideon, what are your thoughts on that? Is it okay to have different sources to connect with your customers?
I would want to know what you mean by sources, because if by source you are talking about channels.
Touch points. Yeah, so channels essentially, or touch points.
Yeah, so omni-channel, you have to be on every channel. Your customers are everywhere. So you need to be on every channel. And then you need to leverage omni-channel softwares like Stames to be able to just streamline all the communications from those social media platforms to a centralized software where your team can access it and then be able to respond. And once they respond, it goes back through that same channel to the person. So if the person sends the information from Facebook, it goes to Facebook, to them on Facebook. If they send it from Instagram, it goes to Instagram. If they send it from email, there's a really awesome structure whereby they are able to access it they're able to access a response from email. And even after the resolution, you're even able to send a feedback survey form through our system. So omni-channel is the way to go. Connect all your Facebook pages on Stames, and then you are able to then do like message or communicate with your customers, monitor your staff communications, generate reports, team communications. These are all reminders on when an issue is not being attended to. These are all you can easily do that, optimize these processes using software tools like Stames.
I would like to get one question again from the audience. I see Benes has her hand up. So Benes, you can unmute and ask your follow-up question.
I am Ronald and Gideon.
Hi, Benes.
Okay, so the question I asked earlier, I didn't explain well, so let me explain. You see, I sent newsletter out to my customers, and I don't use just one app for the newsletter, but I use different apps for the newsletter. So they always get newsletter from different apps. So I'm thinking that would they be confused, or I should just focus on one app to use for my newsletter?
Can I ask a question? So the different apps that you use, are they giving that same value, or there are reasons why you are using different systems?
So each one of the apps gives me a unique content.
Okay.
Gives me a unique way to write my content. That is why.
Oh, okay. It's not confusing at all for the user. So far as you are not changing email addresses, you just have to stay consistent connecting one particular email addresses to these. marketing materials. So far as you do that, I don't think it's really, but you need to be able to track if there are any links in these marketing emails, right? You need to be able to track them. That is the advice that I can give you, but it doesn't create any confusion if you are not using different emails structures or email accounts, right? Normally, if your customer knows you to be using maybe no reply at company.com or a specific email, it's very important to be consistent on that. But it's other than that, it doesn't really affect much. I don't know.
Okay, I have always been confused about that, but then I'm okay now.
Awesome. Thank you very much for it. I think the key is consistently having the same identity as well. And is your hand back up?
No, I lower. Oh, let me lower. No.
So yes, just consistency as well is key. So far as customer engagement is concerned, knowing how frequently you also engage them is also important. So you also need to do A/B testing to know when is the right time to engage them. So if, for example, you are doing emails, what's the best time where you get a lot of open rates as well, where you get very good open rates is also very key. If it's SMS, how many people are clicking on links or opening the SMS and whatnot? If it's surveys via online, how many of them are also clicking and whatnot? So it's also very key that you stay consistent and you also measure that as well. I'd like to know from the audience if you have any final question. Any final question from the audience? Okay, so there was one question that came in earlier on that I took note of. That how do I, and I think it's all around how do I get started as well, because I think there's been a lot of value. People have understood the need to further engage their audience, but where to get started is always a challenge. So knowing the metrics and whatnot, in terms of how to get started for me, I would say that you can check out Stames.com and sign up from there. They also, I know they have a free audits that also conduct.
Stamesoft.com.
Stamesoft.com, yes. And I know you have an audit that you also perform.
Yeah, we have a customer evaluation.
Talk more about that.
Yeah, we have a customer evaluation portal whereby you are able to fill a survey and then you're able to automatically generate instant customer service rating for your business. So you're able to know, okay, this is my rating. Okay, I have a 2-star rating, I have a 1-star rating. And then we also provide recommendations. So based off on the answers you give, we give you recommendations on, okay, you need to do this, you need to maybe write escalation rules, you need to do this and you need to do that. But if you have any issues, we are here to be able to help you connect you to your customers, also help you to improve your customer services, sales pipelines, and messaging channels. So you can reach out to us anytime. We provide free consultations. We even do free mystery shopper reports in terms of our team go out there. We probe your channels. We see where you are going wrong, and then we make recommendations to what you can do to make it better. Entirely free. There's no cost to it.
So how do we get started with that?
So you go to our website, stamesoft.com. You can be able to access the evaluation portal and go through it. Once you fill out the form and everything, they will ask you will see options after you've generated your ratings and everything. You see somewhere where a link for you to request for a mystery shopper report. If you are not able to do that entirely and you want our help, when you go on our website, you can send us a message. We have our free website, which is over there. You fill out the form and then you connect with our team. And then we are able to come and help you.
I'm happy to say that mNotify is a proud partner of Stames. So for every channel that we have on mNotify, you can also find that on Stames as well. So at mNotify, like I mentioned earlier, we provide customer engagement tools that help you to build brand loyalty, customer retention, and above all, increase revenue for your brand. And we do that using bulk SMS, voice SMS, IVR, USSD, chatbots, and all of these multi-channel options. And you can either check them out from our website, www.mnotify.com, or book a free session where we also engage with you and understand your engagement needs and make further recommendations. Any final words, Gideon? Especially we are in customer service week, so any final thoughts about that and any comments on that as well?
Okay, so for anyone who is looking to engage with us further, we have an event tomorrow that we are going to. It's the Customer Experience Professionals Conference. We'll be there. If you happen to be around Labadi Beach Hotel, you can come around and visit our booth, where we can be able to demonstrate our software to you, be able to help you get started. Even you can put in a request for the mystery shopper report. We actually, like Ronald said, we are in partnership. We've actually integrated mNotify SMS systems into our platform. So mNotify helps you to get notifications via SMS when your customers reach out to you, instead of just depending on emails. So we are very grateful to mNotify for helping us with that whole integration. So yeah, we are also on the 11th. We are sponsoring, I think mNotify and I and Stames, we are sponsoring International Customer Service Summit, which is happening at African Regent Hotel. Would be there, so we'll be able to interact with you if you happen to be around that place. So yeah, I think that is all I can say.
Thank you very much, Gideon, for your time. I'm also happy to announce that for every participant that was on this call and anyone that comes across the video as well, mNotify is giving out free chatbots in view of us empowering SMEs to be on the AI wave. So if you're interested in getting a free chatbot for your business, you can visit www.chatbotsafrica.com and sign up from there, and you get a free chatbot for your business, whether it's an e-commerce business or a brand that needs to do FAQs. I'd like to thank you very, very much for your time today. I'd like to say a big thank you to Meskill. I would entreat all of us to check out Meskill. For any of us that want to scale our businesses or would need any form of business advisory services, you can always check out Meskill as well for any of this. Thank you very much, Gideon. I've been your host, Ronald.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you on our next webinar as well.
Wonderful.